In our health lead, in what is becoming one of the greatest public health challenges of our time, mental health crisis that has been, of course, exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. And in May, the Surgeon General highlighted another factor, warning about the harmful effects that social media can have on young Americans' mental health. Today, the current U.S. Surgeon General and 6 of his predecessors held a discussion moderated by CNN's Dr. Sanjay Gupta at Dartmouth College to discuss all the challenges Americans, especially young Americans, are facing in this public health crisis.
Even as the country has spent more on healthcare than ever before, our mental health has been steadily and sadly declining for 2 decades now. When the pandemic hit, we knew its impact would extend far beyond our physical health. The virus, the isolation, the loss of loved ones. It was like throwing gas onto an already roaring flame.
I am so concerned about our children because there is an epidemic, if you will, of mental health challenges that they've been facing.
The latest numbers, about 42% of high schoolers say they constantly feel sad or hopeless. That's up more than 50% from 1999.
We are crying, we are mourning the loss of a student, of a peer, of a best friend, of a daughter.
A recent survey found that more than 40% of undergrads have considered dropping out, largely because of mental health and emotional stress. 41% of undergrads reported overall depression, and 14% reported suicidal ideation within the past year.
When I heard about the first one, it really hit, and then another one happened, and then another one happened, and then one happened yesterday, and I just don't know what to do anymore.
While we are used to hearing from the Surgeon General about things like smoking or opioids, all the living Surgeons General have come together here at Dartmouth to take on what they say is now one of the biggest public health challenges of our time, mental health, especially among this younger generation.
And I have to look at my 3 teenagers every day and know that I'm not handing them a better world than the world that was left to me. And a lot of that is because of our failure to really focus on mental health and to do the hard things that it's going to take to actually overcome this mental health crisis that we're in.
A clarion call to hopefully protect our very future.
Jake, I gotta tell you, this is only the second time all the Surgeons General have gotten together like this, which gives you some idea of just the importance. You know, tobacco, opioids, that's what you typically think of them talking about. Mental health, that's sort of the big priority right now. And we're at your alma mater, Jake, here at Dartmouth, just outside Dartmouth Hall. And part of the reason we're here is, as you know, Jake, this is a campus that's been hit really hard. There were at least 4 students who died by suicide over a 2-year period. You can just imagine what that does to a university community. The new president here, President Bylock, has made mental health and addressing some of these issues the #1 priority of her tenure. So more than lip service, hopefully it leads to some action here, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously something important, I say, as a trustee of Dartmouth, at Dartmouth, but it's a nationwide epidemic, high schools, elementary schools, colleges, graduate schools. What sort of solutions did the Surgeons General talk about, specifically to anyone who might be struggling with their mental health, who's watching right now, or someone who might have a friend or family member struggling?
Well, there were a few things that really jumped out. One is that there's a system problem here. I mean, there's still a lot of stigma attached to it. It's been that way since the first Surgeon General that we were talking to was in office, 30 years ago. Primary care doctors being able to be emboldened and empowered to screen for this, so there's not such a sort of specialization, which can be important in medicine, but also make certain specialties hard to access. There needs to be more at the primary care level actually screening for this. But there is something I think everybody can do, to your point. If you see someone who's in mental health crisis, most people have no idea what to do. If you see someone who's in a cardiac arrest, you know to call 911 and start pushing on the chest. But if someone's obviously in mental health crisis, what do? The Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy, the current Surgeon General, he talked about that specifically.
Keep those people in our mind who are struggling, because they become our sources of motivation, but also empathy toward others. And if you think about the people in your life who you know are struggling, you also know that it's hard to tell from the outside how they're doing. Small moments of human connection make a huge difference.
these conversations crucially important, Jake. Thank you for making this, putting this on the show. So I think it makes a really big difference.
Oh, obviously, I would do that, Sanjay. Obviously, I think the world of you, and I think the world of Dartmouth. Dr. Sanjay Gupta, thanks so much. And a reminder, if you or someone you care about needs help, please call or text 988 to reach the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Again, 988. Save it as a favorite in your phone. 988. There is help for you. There is love for you. And you deserve it. We're back in a moment.